Nobody here. There's nobody at the front desk.
The hospital had become a shell of itself.
You don't have functioning elevators. You don't have functioning cafeterias. Like, you can't run a hospital that way.
How treating hospitals like financial assets leaves them gutted on the next Reveal. Tonight at 9 on WNYC.
This is John Schaefer, host of New Sounds. Join me for hand-picked, genre-free music 24/7 on the WNYC app. To download the WNYC app, simply go to wnyc.org/app.
On the next All of It, best-selling author Gary Shteyngart. His latest novel tells the story of a young girl trying to keep her family together in a country that is coming apart. It's titled Vera or Faith, and he joins us to discuss. Plus, we want to hear how you were shaped by your teenage work experience. Get ready to call in. I'm Allison Stewart. Join us for All of It, weekdays at noon on WNYC.
Marketplace Morning Report is coming up next, and then in 10 minutes at 9 o'clock, it's the BBC NewsHour on WNYC. Let's check in with London and see what they're working on. Hello, London.
Good morning, WNYC. I'm Tim Franks. On today's NewsHour, the World Health Organization slams Israel over its latest assault on Gaza. That's BBC NewsHour, coming up at 9 on WNYC.
We have sunshine in the city right now. We're at 72 degrees with a slim chance of some late morning showers. Very slim chance, mostly sunny. Up near 80 degrees at 79. We have winds at 13 miles an hour. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny and 87. And it will turn hot the end of the week, Thursday and Friday. Thursday, sunny and 91. Friday, sunny and 94 and feeling hotter than that.
Why employers may not know if a new hire is documented or not.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Mercury. Mercury brings together banking, credit cards, and financial software to help businesses manage their finances. Learn more at Mercury.com.
I'm David Brancaccio in Los Angeles. First, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said yesterday lower interest rates from the Fed would, quote, unlock the mortgage market. That also means unlock the market for buying and selling homes. Tomorrow we'll hear about sales of used houses and apartments. Sales figures on new ones come the day after. Things have been sluggish. Marketplace's Kristen Schwab reports.
Spring and summer of 2025 were supposed to mark the beginning of the housing market comeback. Selma Hepp, chief economist at Cotality, says that was dependent on one important factor.
You know, economists have been saying for the last couple of years, mortgage rates are going to get lower, mortgage rates are going to get lower.
But they haven't gone down. The average 30-year fixed is 6.75%, which is about where it was this time last year. And it's probably not budging anytime soon because, well, there's a whole list of reasons why.
Persistent inflation, pretty strong economy given how much rates have gone up, some of the new initiatives by the current administration.
But there are some regional bright spots. There's been some price relief in Florida and Texas where inventory is up. In general, though, Robert Dietz, chief economist at the National Association of Home Builders, says sentiment among home builders is down.
That has been in negative territory now for 15 straight months.
Between hesitant home builders and the high cost of borrowing, Dietz says people who have been waiting to enter the market may need to wait longer or adjust their expectations.
The current rate environment is likely to be the new normal.
He thinks longer term, mortgage rates will move closer to 6% over the next 2 or 3 years. I'm Kristen Schwab for Marketplace.
Now, there's a difference between the White House trying to call the shots on interest rate policy versus reforming the way the guardians of interest rates at the Fed make decisions. That discussion will be in the Marketplace Morning podcast later this morning if you miss it on the air. Universal Music Group, the world's biggest, is one step closer to selling shares on a U.S. stock exchange. It has now filed a proposal for that at the Securities and Exchange Commission. This icon of American music has had overseas headquarters for years. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer has that.
Universal Music Group helped launch the careers of Taylor Swift and Lady Gaga. Its history goes back to the 1960s when Music Corporation of America bought Decca Records. That company was purchased by the Japanese electronics company Matsushita, which then sold it to the Canadian liquor conglomerate Seagram's. Seagram renamed it Universal Music Group. Eventually, Seagram merged with Vivendi, a French utility group. Since then, the Chinese company Tencent has acquired about a 20% share of Universal. American hedge fund manager Bill Ackman's Pershing Square Capital also has a stake. Universal shares are already listed on the Euronext exchange in Amsterdam. The company is based in the Netherlands. It's not clear how many Universal shares will be offered in the U.S. or how much they'll cost. The offering is subject to review by the SEC. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
I see S&P and NASDAQ futures are little changed about a half hour before formal trading opens. General Motors stock is down nearly 2% in pre-market trading after news this morning. Its spring into summer profits hit the skids, in part due to higher tariffs. Coca-Cola stock down 1% pre-market, even though profits today beat expectations, with stronger sales in Europe.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Odoo, offering software that provides building blocks for creating a custom software suite. Odoo, what businesses need.
To get a job, your employer is required by law to get you to fill out a form, the old I-9, as you show you have a legit right to work in the U.S., and since the mid-1990s, employers used an online system to verify this, but that system has problems. Marketplace's senior Washington correspondent Kimberly Adams reports.
The system's called E-Verify, and until recently, employers would just check a new hire's document when they first came on board, because once people had work authorization, for the most part, they kept it. But the Trump administration has been canceling the work authorizations for hundreds of thousands of immigrants from Haiti, Cuba, Venezuela, and several other countries.
People who have had temporary protected status, who have had that revoked. So large groups of relatively recent immigrants.
Madeline Zavadny is an economics professor at the University of North Florida.
But in some cases, people who have been here for decades as well have suddenly lost their legal rights to work and live in the United States. So what their employers are going to do, I have no idea.
The Department of Homeland Security issued new guidance this summer, encouraging employers using E-Verify to recheck employees from these groups. Glenn Wasserstein is managing partner of Immigration Law Group in D.C.
They're placing a new burden on the employers that they have to keep checking the E-Verify for their current employees to make sure that their status hasn't been changed within the system, which isn't something that was done prior to now.
It's also a problem, according to Wasserstein and other experts, because the agreement that employers sign when they agree to use E-Verify says they can only check employees' work status when they're first hired.
It is unclear because the two seem not to match.
Emily Dickens is the head of government affairs at the Society for Human Resource Management. She says it's also not clear if these rechecks are a requirement or just an option. Her group sent a letter to DHS trying to get clarity.
So we've got to hear from them what they are going to scrutinize. What are the things that they're looking for? And so we need clear, consistent, and compliance-oriented guidance for them.
We reached out to DHS for comment as well and didn't hear back. But even if businesses do get that clarity and keep using E-Verify, it's not particularly reliable.
The evidence overwhelmingly shows that E-Verify approves most workers who are unauthorized to work in the United States.
Alex Narasta is a vice president at the Cato Institute. He says it's easy for folks to present documents that aren't theirs, and employers often don't have an incentive to look too closely when they want to make a quick hire.
It is not an effective means to weed out unauthorized immigrant workers from the labor force.
A Cato report from a couple of years back found that E-Verify flagged fewer than 1 in 6 unauthorized workers. In Washington, I'm Kimberly Adams for Marketplace.
And in Los Angeles, I'm David Brancaccia with a Marketplace Morning Report from APM, American Public Media.
WNYC receives support from New Jersey Performing Arts Center presenting comedian Mo Amer, creator and star of the Netflix series